After their parents' deaths, Haruka and Sora leave the city and return to their hometown. The next day, Haruka enrolls in school, and all of the girls adore him. Haruka begins to make friends with those girls, but Sora remains at home due to weakness. She recalls a childhood incident in which she was about to be hit on the head while playing at home, but Haruka saved her. But he got so close that he could not resist kissing her. Sora remembers those days and waits for Haruka to return. When Haruka returns home, he informs Sora that at school, a girl named Akira wanted to be friends with him. Hearing this, Sora becomes jealous and goes to her room. The next day, a girl named Koja asks Haruka who he was hanging out with yesterday. Haruka replies that she was his sister, and she is relieved that she was not his girlfriend. When Haruka's neighbor Yoriheim sees them walking together, she tells Koja that she is similar to his older sister. Then, on her way home, she recalls her childhood and her first meeting with Haruka. Then suddenly Haruka appears in front of her, causing Yoriheim to be injured, and Haruka arrives to take her home. But Sora, who had been waiting for Haruka's return all day, notices them coming together. That is why, as soon as Haruka walks in, she asks him why he is ignoring her messages. Haruka realizes that Sora has sent him numerous messages, so he apologizes to her. That night, Sora enters Haruka's room and requests that he satisfy her. But when Sora notices Haruka's nervousness, she makes an excuse to have him measure her for her school uniform. The next day, as Haruka was leaving for school, he overheard Sora scream loudly because she saw mosquitoes in the room. When he comes running back, Sora clings to him tightly, so tightly that Haruka feels her oranges. After reaching school, Haruka tells Akira about mosquitoes and she asks him to go to her house in the evening to get a mosquito net. When Kazuha expresses her desire to accompany him, Roni realizes she likes Haruka, but she declines. Then, in the evening, Haruka goes with Akira to her house, which is located on a high shrine. When Akira hands him a mosquito net, his gaze falls on her plot, making him feel shy. After acquiring a mosquito net, he visits a nearby shop to purchase ice cream, where he inquires about Akira with the shop owner, Hiro, who advises him not to investigate Akira's past. When he is going home with ice cream, Kazuha comes there in her car and offers to drop him to his house. Haruka describes Kazuha as a kind person who always looks after Akira. After hearing Haruka's praise, Kazuha's heart fills with joy. After arriving at Haruka's house, Kazuha wishes to assist Haruka in sewing buttons for Sora's school uniform, so she stays there. Sora had seen both of them talking, so she stood outside the room and jealously listened to their conversation. After Kazuha leaves, when Haruka gives the dress to Sora, she refuses to take it. But the next morning, she puts on her dress and prepares to go to school. At school, they learn that today everyone must clean the pool together. Every girl enjoys cleaning the pool, and the boys enjoy watching them. Kazuha also gets completely drenched and her inner clothes become visible, so Akira takes her to the bathroom to change her clothes. Haruka then finds Kazuha's phone on the ground and goes to the bathroom to return it. But strange sounds of girls come from inside the bathroom, making it appear that they are playing with each other. When Kazuha's maid sees Haruka, she accuses him of peeping, but he explains that he had come to return the phone. Later, as Haruka walks home, Kazuha rushes up to him and asks him what he had heard. Haruka responds that he has heard their strange voices, which appears to indicate a special relationship between them. Kazuha denies this, claiming that Akira is her stepsister, which is why she always looks after her. The following day, they all go on vacation to the beach. Everyone is having a good time, but Sora is focused on her brother, who is sitting close to Kazuha. When Kazuha wants to go play with others, Haruka stops her, and she stays, and they spend the entire day together. Even when they are returning home by train, they sit together, and Sora keeps looking at them. They both begin to like each other, and the following day they return home from school together. Kazuha asks Haruka to help her with the upcoming summer festival, and Haruka agrees. But he cannot make it well, so Kazuha starts explaining to him, but his attention is drawn to her oranges. The next day, they are hanging out when they meet Kazuha's father, who chastises her for being late for tuition class the day before, and Haruka defends her by explaining that she was showing him around the city. Haruka then takes her with him, but Kazuha's mood worsens, so Haruka takes her for a walk to the market, where they play games, which cheers her up. When they return from their day out, Kazuha approaches him to invite him to Akira's birthday party, but Haruka is unable to resist and takes her in his arms and begins passionately kissing her. Their friendship blossoms into love, but one day, as they return from school, Hiro informs them that she cannot find Akira anywhere. They rush to Akira's house, where she lies unconscious on the ground. Kazuha holds herself responsible for Akira's condition because she has begun to spend all of her time with Haruka. So Kazuha resumes spending all of her time with Akira and starts ignoring Haruka. But Akira realizes she is sacrificing her relationship for her, so she kisses Kazuha to let her know she loves Haruka more than her, and is forcing herself to ignore him. Shocked by Akira's words, Kazuha runs away from there. After a few days, Akira hosts a birthday party for all of her friends, but Kazuha does not attend. Haruka calls her several times, but she does not respond. Then, on his way home, Akira asks Haruka about his feelings for Kazuha, to which he confesses that he loves her very much. Sora overhears everything he says and upon returning home, attempts to get closer to Haruka. But Haruka does not like it, so she questions why he does not tell her anything about Kazuha. But Haruka leaves the house under the pretext of telling her later. He buys a gift for Kazuha and goes to her house where he finds her maid and gives the gift to her. Then, on the night of the summer festival, Haruka and Akira wait for Kazuha, who arrives wearing a kimono. Akira departs from there, leaving them alone. Kazuha tells him she likes his gift, and the couple goes for a walk in the market. Kazuha becomes enraged at her father because he does not love her stepdaughter Akira. So Haruka takes her to Akira's house, where Kazuha discovers that her father cares about Akira but keeps it a secret. This causes Kazuha to become emotional, and she invites her lover to her room. Haruka, unlike other anime protagonists, is not a shy cat, and he spends the entire night developing plot with her. After returning home, he notices Sora looking through their childhood photos. She shows him his childhood locket, reminding Haruka that Akira had shown him a locket as her mother's only memento. When he arrived at school, he noticed Akira standing at the window, looking outside with a disappointed expression on her face. Haruka looked out the window, and a girl was playing with her parents. Haruka informs her that they are childhood friends, and Akira hugs him fondly as he recalls their friendship. He then recalls how, while playing in the forest, Akira fell from a tree and lost the only memento of her mother. Akira pretends it is not a big deal for her, but Haruka knows she is devastated after losing her mother's memento. That is why he calls Akira at midnight and asks her to go find her mother's locket the following Sunday. On Sunday, he arrives at Akira's house dressed as a miner and then heads to the forest in search of the locket. Then Haruka arrives at their playing area and begins digging with great enthusiasm. Seeing Haruka working so hard, Akira cannot understand why he is doing this. She asks the reason for Haruka working so hard for her. So Haruka explains that he knows she has been sad since losing her mother's locket, and he wants to make her smile again. Then Akira's feet slip and she falls on him, getting them dirty, so they go home to take a bath. However, when Haruka takes a bath, Akira joins him inside. Then, after a while, she enters the tub and begins bathing with Haruka, expressing her desire to develop plot with him. Haruka agrees to develop the plot, which they do with excitement and pleasure. When Haruka learns that Akira's mother may still be alive, he offers to assist her in finding her mother. He looks through old newspapers to learn more about her mother before accompanying Sora to the shrine for the evening ceremony. They see Akira and Kazuha, and then Kazuha's mother arrives. Akira greets her, but she walks away without responding. Then everyone gathers for the ceremony, which begins with Akira performing a traditional dance. Haruka notices that Akira is crying while dancing, so after the dance is over, he comes to meet her in her room. There he notices Akira burning a diary containing information about her mother. Haruka snatches the diary from her and puts out the fire. After reading it, he concludes that there is some relationship between Kazuha's mother and Akira. Then he goes to Hiro with the diary. But she knows nothing about it, so Haruka decides to conduct a DNA test on Akira and Kazuha's mother. Later, Akira meets Haruka and asks him to end their relationship because she believes that everyone she loves will disappear one day. Haruka tries to persuade her not to end their relationship, but she does not listen. Haruka then meets Kazuha and informs her about the DNA test, and Kazuha agrees to her mother's DNA test. When Kazuha informs her mother about the DNA test, she becomes enraged and leaves. Then Haruka informs Akira that the DNA test report will arrive in 5 days, and she agrees to come see it. However, on the day of the report, Kazuha informs him that Akira has gone missing from her home and is nowhere to be found. Haruka immediately sets out to find Akira, and after several hours of searching, he finds her sitting at the railway station. Haruka takes his time convincing her that everyone loves her, and she reconsiders leaving the city. Then Kazuha and Sora arrive with the report, which she hands over to Akira. However, she begins to cry emotionally even before reading the report. Then Kazuha's mother arrives, and after taking them home, she shows her Akira's lost locket. She requests that they read the name written on the locket, which is her name. Then she explains that after giving birth, Akira's mother was very ill. That is why she started playing with Akira and then she pulled out her locket. When her mother dies a few days later, she gives the locket to Akira. Then Akira reads the DNA report, which states that she is not her mother. Later, Akira wants to thank Haruka for his assistance, so she asks him to develop the plot, and they spend the entire night developing it. In the future story, Haruka will develop plot with other girls, but despite this, he also develops plot with his sister, but we will know why he does this in the next part.